How's it? Welcome back. So the AirPod lucid dreaming technique that I spoke about in the video that I posted hopefully right before this, but yesterday I shot a video talking about how these can be really helpful for a lucid dreaming practice where over the weekend we went on a quick family trip to Kauai and I forgot to bring my earplugs that I normally like to sleep with, but luckily I had these, so I just basically used these as my earplugs as I was going to sleep. So just throw them in, turn on the noise canceling function. But then later on in the night when they die or when you get that low battery alert. However, for me, the last two times I've worn these, what woke me up was the dead battery alert, not the low battery alert. But when that sound goes off, if you can catch it, it will gently wake you up out of the dream. And it gives you a wonderful opportunity to essentially do like my modified wake back to bed technique where after waking, at least the approach that I like to go with, Michael Rodriguez from his book, The Phase, he has a bunch of other techniques, but my preferred technique is after waking up, hopefully mid-dream, I try to fall back asleep immediately and start replaying back the dream that I was just coming out of. But you could also do this with like dreams from earlier in the night, but I'm essentially doing that to try and commit them to memory so I can dream journal them in the morning. But as I'm replaying back that dream, if you're lucky enough to fall back asleep quickly and enter back into REM, it gives you a wonderful opportunity for a wild. And now I'm kind of on the fence to consider the dream I had last night, if it was a wild or not. Like for me, when I have a full-on wild, I like to have the strong body high sensation that goes along with it. But for me, that for the most part only seems to happen when I go to sleep initially, like from being full-on wide awake, like the first time I'm going to sleep at night. If I can have a wild from that point, it has a really awesome body high sensation that goes along with it. But most of the time when I'm doing it, like just waking up out of a dream and then quickly falling back asleep, I don't know if I'm missing that transition period exactly, so I don't get that strong body high, but that strong body high doesn't really seem to be there. But anyway, so I woke up out of the dream and I was dreaming about being in like I think it's France. I should have looked this up, but you know where they have like that glass pyramid thing that's in a bunch of movies. So like we were over there in the dream, so it was already going on for a while. But anyway, I'm replaying that back in my head, and then by this point I'm back dreaming again. Again, I missed that transition, but I'm over there in front of that glass pyramid with some friends and family, and I see one of my friends from real life, this girl Summer, come walking by, and I was surprised to see her, and I was like, oh hey, you know, Summer, like what are you doing here? I was already lucid at this point. And you know, so we're talking a little bit. I'm trying to tell her like, hey, like look at my hand, like I'm dreaming. She's not that interested, but then one of the dream characters on the side of us, this other lady, like it was super packed. She's like, oh yeah, your hand does look weird, right? So I was like, hey, check this out. I can fly and stuff. So then I go to fly up a little bit, but it's so crowded with people that I'm like bumping into people and having a hard time flying. So then I think like, oh, you know, I should try and do something with this lucidity here. So I look at the lady that saw my dream hands and I try to ask her, I'm trying to ask her like a good deep question, but I'm kind of just pulling a blank. So I simply ask her where she's from. And so then she starts walking off. So I go to follow her. And now we're by like these big buildings with like the stairs that kind of go up the outside of the building. And so she's taking me there. And I actually just wanted her to like to give me an answer about where she's from or something more along those lines. But she's seems to be like taking me to where she lives. And so then we get there, and the next thing I know is like we're on top of this building, and she has all these cats everywhere, right? And I'm looking at one of the cats. I'm like, hey, that looks like my cat, man. Like that looks like Catman. And she's like, oh, it is your cat. And I remember thinking like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, that's cool. And she's like, I actually have a bunch of your cats. And then that caught me off guard because I've only ever owned one cat. And then we get into this whole discussion about cats, and I felt like she was telling me like some really deep, important shit about cats. I just can't remember what exactly she was saying. So then, you know, that goes on for a little bit. I'm thinking, okay, cool, I'm gonna go off and explore the dream space. So I go to the edge of the building to jump off because I love jumping off of shit in my dreams. I like that more than flying. When I get to the edge of the building, I realize we're actually like on the ground level. So it's like, okay, that's odd. And then earlier in this dream, I was surfing and stuff like that. And then I guess I had some residual thoughts of that because then I start seeing these waves coming through the city streets. And then it basically turns into almost like a tsunami flooding through the streets. So I get swept up in that. I'm not clear enough to like think to fly out and think like, oh shit, I got to try to grab onto something to hold. So I grab onto something, still safe, still semi-lucid at this point. I go into this building to get away from it. And then inside the building, there's like these dream characters there that I know I have to fight. There was two of them initially, and I couldn't really see them because they were like kind of in like these shadows. I was saying like, oh crap, okay, well, I guess I gotta fight them. And then when I see them, they look like more bigger and scarier than initially. And then I have this like small sword, almost like a Virgin knife in my hand that I got to fight them with, and they got these really big ones. But I'm thinking like, you know, whatever. I know I'm not going to get like hurt, and die, because I was lucid at this point. So thinking, screw it, I'll go fight them. As we're fighting them, a third one shows up, and I basically tell them, well, we have to fight one at a time, one by one. That shit goes on. Some other stuff happened throughout the dream. It didn't quite end there, but then I kept bouncing back and forth from being like more lucid to less lucid to kind of not lucid at all. Then I would get lucid again and kind of just go back and forth like that. But for the most part, that was the gist of the dream. So anyway, what I really wanted to talk about in this video was this AirPod lucid dreaming technique, which was successful for me last night. So if you have a pair of these or any other Bluetooth earbuds that have a noise canceling function that will give you some sort of alert when the battery is getting low or when it dies, give it a try. It's yeah, it can work. So anyway, that is it. Until the next video, keep your lucid dreaming practice legit.